Hello, and welcome to another video in which I torture myself for no goddamn reason at all. In today's episode of How I Torture Myself, we have in the left corner, me, and in the right corner, the one, the only, the feared 100 Baby Challenge, which I will try to speedrun and complete as fast as possible, both because I am yet to see someone actually manage to speedrun it, and also because I know that if I take long, I will get bored and it will never get completed. Which, mind you, might still happen, because I still don't know how fast I'll be able to speedrun it, but I will try my best. Anyway, we have our sim here. Her name is River Waters. She's a family-oriented, cheerful, and self-assured sim. I chose these traits because I knew they were going to keep her in a good mood most of the time, which I find incredibly necessary when you're caring for 100 screaming toddlers. And I also gave her one random knowledge aspirations, which I changed right after I got in the game, because that gave her the quick learner trait, which allows the sim to gain skills faster. And let me tell you, I had a plan. I entered this battle prepared. And by that I mean this is not the first time I attempt to speedrun the 100 baby challenge. It's not even my second. It is my third. The reason I abandoned the others is because I always forgot to have my sim get pregnant again. So she'd be caring for a baby, and then the baby would turn into a toddler, and I'd realized that she wasn't pregnant anymore for a while. So I lost some very many days just having her exist around. Because you know what's a sim if not pregnant? Which meant both that now I would remember to get her pregnant and also that I had a little bit of experience with caring for all the kids. Anyway, as I was saying, I had a plan, which you can also use as a tutorial for what to do and not to do in the 100 Baby Challenge Speedrunning Edition. So here we go. First of all, the house might be empty, but get the most expensive bed you can. Trust me, it's a must. A mistake I did the first few times that I tried this challenge was getting a cheap bed so I could get more things inside the house. No, don't do that. Instead, get the 1000 simoleons bed, which has 10 energy and 10 stress relief. And yes, it's expensive, and it's going to take longer to buy more beds and stuff to do for the kids and the toddlers, but you will get them before you get too many kids, especially if you're painting like crazy for money. But a cheap bed means the sim is going to sleep forever. Forever. And she doesn't have forever. Babies are crying, toddlers need to be fed, toilets need to be repaired. Your sim always has to be on it, and if her energy needs forever to restore, she can do that. It's hard enough caring for the house with the most expensive bed, and she doesn't need more on her plate. Just have mercy. Second, always be pregnant, as long as the number of people in the house would allow. Self-explanatory. Third, complete as many aspiration milestones as possible as fast as possible, even if you're not going to finish the actual aspiration at all. Why? Because that gives the sim satisfaction points, which can be used to give her reward traits. That is something that I found mandatory in the speedrunning of this challenge. Once I gave her the never worry reward trait and she didn't need to sleep anymore, things got much easier. Before that, she was miserable all the time. She went to sleep and suddenly the baby was crying, and then she went to sleep and the other baby was crying. And then she went to sleep and the toddler was starving and there was no food. And then she went to sleep and the baby was crying again. And then she went to sleep and oops, she's in labor. So yeah, reward traits. Many, many, many reward traits. 4. The kids have one mission only. Do their homework. Are they not having fun? Are they sleepy? Are they hungry? It doesn't matter. Homework. To speedrun this challenge, you need to be one of those crazy grade-obsessed parents that keep their children up at night doing extra math homework. The 5th one, use the teens. Yeah, the teens need to do their homework, but also they can now do stuff. They are not allowed to cook or help with the toddlers, because that's something reserved for the matriarch as part of the challenge, but they can clean around and repair all the appliances that constantly break. Also, don't worry about the character values. Teens need at least one positive character value from parenthood to age up, but since they're always doing homework, extra work, and projects, the responsibility will be enraged to get the trait 9 times out of 10. Don't worry about it. When the teens have a B in high school, check to see if the responsibility is in range, and in the odd case that it isn't, work on it 10 and only 10. Otherwise, you're just losing precious time. Oh, and something that's not really like a rule, but it's a piece of advice. For teens to get an A in school, they need to have level 4 of at least one skill. I advise you to make that skill something that gains you money, preferably painting, especially when you already have 6 or 7 children and you constantly need to be taking care of them so the matriarch can barely make money herself. This is important, at least in the beginning. That being said, I still managed to do some very stupid mistakes. First of all, I was planning to use Realm of Magic and make her a spellcaster, cause once she learns Screwbaroo, she can clean herself, her teens, and the house in barely any time. And also, she could have made a bunch of potions of plentiful needs to give to her children at all times, but I forgot. And by the time I realized that, I was already too deep into the game, and becoming a spellcaster at that time felt like losing precious time I could have used towards the rest of my plan.
Doofenshmirtz Incorporated.
But I do think in the next part she is probably going to become a spellcaster now that the situation got a little bit better for her. And another mistake that I did was that I forgot to put the lot traits from the beginning. So I remembered quite a bit later into the game when the first babies were already born, but it didn't affect anything that much. So that was good and lucky. Somehow I got twins the first time I had babies even though I did not have the only line trait on. That's how I remembered to put it. But don't forget to put the lot traits on. I used the only line one to make more babies, the good schools one because kids get good grades faster, and the child's play one so the kids learn skills faster. Now, on to where I got lucky. As I said, I tried this challenge before 2 times. Only now do I actually notice the difference on ley line mix. I don't know why. The first times I tried, which would make like a total of 20 something children in separate saves, I only had single children. Always. But this time, I only twice had a single child, and the rest were all twins. I'm currently on the 12th. I don't really know why and how that happened, or if I just had a glitch and only line wasn't working before. But now I only had twins. The only time I didn't was when my household was already at 7 members, so I could only get one child. To be fair, I think having so many kids so fast was both an advantage and a disadvantage, because I wasn't expecting them to be so many so fast and I didn't really have the money to buy shit for them, because I used it all on the fancy bed. But I made it through. Anyway, at first it was easy, like very easy. She painted a bunch, she got a lot of satisfaction points, all was good. But then more babies came up and I had to use a lot of money for them to have stuff to do. Not because I am a caring mother who cared about their fun, but because toddlers need level 3 in all skills to age up. I also heard of a variant with level 5 in 3 skills, but I found it much easier to get to level 3 in all. Except potty. I hate the potty skill. It's the devil. It goes up really slow, so it takes forever to complete, and it always gets my toddlers feeling sad or angry because they have accidents. Anyway, moving on. For the toddlers to gain skills fast, I found you need everything and double. I once had 4 toddlers at the same time, and putting aside the fact that it was pure fucking hell, I needed 2 potties, 1 huge stuffed animal, a toy box, a set of cubes, and a tablet so they can all have something to do at the same time and not just lose time. Oh, and another piece of advice from earlier: always give your toddlers and kids something to do yourself. Always, because if you don't give them something to do, there are extremely high chances that what they automatically decide to do is make a mess all over the floors and in the garden. Now, having a messy house is extremely annoying, not only because it puts everyone in an uncomfortable mood at all times, but also because your matriarch has to stop whatever she's doing and go discipline the child making a mess. Every time. which between potty training toddlers and caring for babies gets extremely annoying. Speaking of babies, at the moment as I'm recording this, my sim had twins Danube and Volga, twins Amazon and Nile, twins Mississippi and Yangtze, Yenisei who was born alone, twins Ob and Huanghe, twins Congo and Amur, and Rio Plata who also got born on her own. These are all names of rivers, by the way. I went on Wiki to the list of the longest rivers in the world, and these ones were the ones first on that list. Because her name is River Waters? No? Okay. Things went pretty smoothly. Honestly, I was and still kind of am very confident that I'll be able to actually finish and speedrun this in a decent amount of time. The hardest part was juggling between aspirations. Every time I introduce myself to someone, I try to jump to the friend of the world one, but I always forget. Every time I get a new baby daddy, I have to switch to the serial romantic one, and I forgot 2 times or so. I finished the painter extraordinaire one. She's about to finish the super parent and the successful lineage line. She's actively working on the best-selling author one. I think it will be finished soon. And I also play around with the grilled cheese one right at the start, because I thought it's going to be easy and I'm going to be able to get a lot of satisfaction points fast while also making it very easy to feed my stupid children. Turns out you need to eat grilled cheese in space and ain't nobody got time for that. But The Sims 4 being the game that it is, of course, it had it in for me. And the chaos started when I was just about to get rid of my first batch of children. At the same time. So I had the newbie, Volga, Amazon, and Nile ready to be aged up into young adults and move out. And I also had Mississippi and Yangtze ready to be aged up to teenagers. I had Yenisei just chilling about being his annoying poopy toddler self. And I baked this great, wonderful cake and put candles on it as you do, and I aged up my first sim. All was well. And then I aged up the second one, and it didn't want to. And then I went on to the third, which was fine, and then I moved to the fourth one, and they also didn't want to age up. And the children also wouldn't age up, and I was just left there like just staring with the useless cake, googling what the fuck is going on, only to have people on forums go like, danger, danger, your game is corrupt, delete all sims who have this issue, which of course I wasn't going to do. So I jumped into create a sim, aged them up from there, and all was well. I moved the young adults out and just sat at home ready to woohoo for my next batch of children when suddenly the baby cries. The baby cried. Remember when I said I had 4 teens, 2 children, and 1 toddler? Yeah, there was no baby involved in that. But for some goddamn reason, when I entered Create a Sim to cheat age up my Sims, the stupid toddler turned back into a baby. And I didn't notice it until I had already saved. So I had to get all the skills up again from zero. Needless to say, I was not happy, but whatever. To put the cherry on top, like 2 days after I aged up the children into teens, I got pop-ups that they aged up again and made me choose other traits and aspirations for them. Yeah, at least they didn't turn back into children, so I had that going on. Anyway, we're reaching the end of this very long and very annoying video. You will get an update when I reach like 25 children or so. Currently, River is living with Yenisei, a teen. She's got to be in high school. Huanghe and Ob, who are children. I think I will try to have one of them play the violin until their ears bleed so they max the creativity skill and River can check a milestone for the super parent aspiration. Or the other one, whatever. And 3 freaking toddlers. She's not pregnant yet, but I will get her pregnant immediately. She also has the never weary and forever full reward traits, which means her needs won't be as much of a problem anymore. I think the next one I'm going to give her is still bladder because it's very annoying when she keeps peeing herself and getting embarrassed all the time. I think this will also help to have her be pregnant at all times, not age up and therefore never have to have another mad year and take all of this all over again because I will go insane. Oh, and to get to this point, I played for about 10 hours of total gameplay. Not at once, but you get it. Which is already a lot considering I only have 12 children. But also, I think what comes next is gonna be easier and faster because my sim isn't such a mess anymore and I also have experience now. And more money. Anyway, I will see you next time.